is the dreaded moment. You're all there, it's all scripted, but here's the reality. It's the people that I'm going to cry, I can't believe it. And I'm going to go through them all. They told me half an hour, you've got no chance. Eat, drink, and be patient. As I say, I try to prepare for this, but it's not just the words on the paper, it's the people. And I have so many people to thank and people to introduce. There's my sister, one of the chief characters in my book. Well, I thought we wouldn't make it. She thought she wouldn't make it. We made it, and that was my dad coming back from America, got off the plane, it was 70-something. I made it, like we should Nixon with the fingers in the air. And whenever I saw Nixon, I always saw my father, which is weird. Anyway. That's my sister Ray. Right next to her happens to be Debbie Garner, who's the first person who took my writing seriously, we were partners in business for years, and got me started writing. I look, there's my friend David Zeffert, edited a lot of my book. And who's that tonight? Desmond Gordon, Tessa's, Rob Slaver, the script, whoever, please, the Chase, whatever. Clive and Karen, I've got her name, I'm so bamboozled tonight I couldn't remember her name. Anyway, that's not in the script. Why did I write this? I don't know. Anyway. So, take your time, I keep telling myself, but, okay, so there's my niece. It's such an amazing event because my nephew, Ian, my sister's oldest son, sorry, I'm bored, happens to be here. He lives in Toronto, but he just happens to be here this week. His sister has come up from Cape Town with her two daughters, that is Sandra and Ariella and Natasha. God, I'm running out of names. Charlie and Leon. There's my family is here, the best of my family. The one who's missing is Ray's youngest son, whose name is Stanley. Now, in the last year of my dad's life, and that's the chief character in my book, Ian took over the mantle of favourite. I was the favourite. And Ian became the favourite because he was at my dad's beck and call. My dad needed a shelf or a this or that in the old age home, and Ian would be there. And typical of my father, he was introducing his two grandsons. And he said, "This is my grandson Ian, and this is his brother Stanley." I've been trying to teach my friend and mentor, David Williams, Yiddish is Yiddish. There's a thing in Yiddish which is called the faribel. The faribel is a small grudge. It's like you're sat at the wrong table, but it's something you carry for life, like the Italians would have been doing. So Stanley has harbored this faribel all these years. This is his brother Stanley. I've covered that. And the friendship, and give me some space here, this is overwhelming. The venue, the whole bit, an evening with Dog Fedler, I sit at a desk with an A4 piece of paper, and every night in the paper forms to me, an evening with Dog Fedler, People, are you mad to pay that much to come here? Are you crazy? I can't afford it. Anyway. So, does this resemble my script in some way? I knew this was going to get messy, because that's the way I am. I take mess and I assemble it. The people who contributed to this book, one of the earliest ones who supported me long before he sold to write is my friend Lawrence Chait, who is enjoying this book as if it was his own. I can't explain. It's incredible friendships that I have. And then Desmond Dorn and Tessa, we go way back, all these people. Okay. Like I say, it's my dad wanted me to be a dentist. Because as a dentist, I make a better living. There didn't seem to be much money in cartooning. Dentistry was the better option. Also, we called doctor, and it wouldn't be called out at night. That's all in the book. So you make more money as a dentist. That was his theory. But there is a lot of job satisfaction in cartooning. You could end up with an evening like this. An evening with very So, not many dentists have an evening like this. We want to thank you for the drilling, injections, the root canal. We love you so much. And it's like someone biblical might have said, pity the dentists, for they shall inherit the hate. They say the highest suicide rate is in dentistry. So to paraphrase an old Jackie Mason joke, it would appear that my loving father wanted me to be hated, but comfortable. Times have changed, and it seems now that cartoonists are hated. And I had a problem with a cartoon about the whole Charlie Hebdo incident. And I spoke to my editor, who was Muslim, who was the last one? There was some other, he's now editor of the Cape Arms. And he said, it was a weird thing to say, he said, please write me a piece, 500 words. I've never been given that kind of a brief. So I sat down, tried to write 500 words, because the deadline's like a cartoon. And I was short by 100 words, whatever. And the next day was the headline in the Cape Times. And I don't want to get into the Charlie Hebdo because I'm not here to do that. Tonight's a celebration. And an evening with Fedler is going to be better than that. So I'm up. Okay. So the parade, the view, the venue, it feels like it's all happening to someone else. You must be enjoying it. It's weird. I'm not used to it. And an evening with Fedler, I see it on a marquee outside of the movie, house like the Metro in old days. Searchlights, handprints in cement. And finally at last, a celebrity. Wow, 50 years. Wow. And then I wonder, okay, an evening with Fedler. Are you sure that's who you came to see? Because a lot of people just can't get the name right. The English have a problem with the vowel. I can't say dove. It has to be dove. And, or was it, sometimes it's Don, it's North, sometimes it's Don Feldman, Wolf Fenter, and now this is a true story. It happened last Tuesday, in dealing with somebody in Cape Town municipality. 3 years we've been corresponding. Installed Dolph Fedler last week. Letter arrives. Dove, D-O-V-E, and an extra D in the name. And I think my signature's pretty legible. So it's like she's trying to tell me that I can't spell my own name correctly. I'm not sure the identical way the name must be spelled. It comes from the Cape Town municipality, which sort of makes it the spelling official. So maybe it's me who's got the name wrong. Was I blaring on? Fedler? Fedler? Wat is het laag? Weet ek wat het dan BAM officiaal? Wanneer die day voort, is dit officieel Dolph Fedler, ja. Maar dus beter Larry volle nationale kanskaping en die mensen Fedler. I prefer those old South African accents for the bureaucratic jazz. Now, the English, as I say, the English have been with the English. Now we're going to read. Now, the Boer have no problem with the but they have a problem with a V. They can't say Dolph. It's Dolph. And it's going to be Dolph. Of, then I get Dolph Verster, Dolph Foster, Dolph Fenster, and generally, to save me embarrassment, they come and whisper in my ear. Is your mom warm Dolph? My fellow tribesmen, of course, have no problem with the name. And sometimes, like some in charge of evening, such as tonight, from across the crowded room, they see me and they have friends they want to introduce me now that I'm a celebrity. And they go, hey, Dolph Fedler, hey, Dolph Fedler, Adolf Hitler, Jews spin around in Kenya, where, what, who? So now they come over, you see? And now's the introduction. Like for to meet Dolph Fedler. I don't make this stuff up, I promise you. So they repeat it. You know, Dolph Fedler. Nothing in. So now they resort to sign language. You know, he draws all the cartoons. I draw all the cartoons. And still there's nothing. They spell it out, and then suddenly it's like the introduction to 2001, the movie, where the planets align, the sun, the earth, and the moon. It's, that rousing that spoke Zarathustra, opening theme to 2001. Dum, 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 ta-da. And I watched the penny drop. They know who I am. Yes, man. I follow you every week in the Sunday Times. I love the way you draw the ball one, the one with the umbrella. Man, I love your painting of the spear. I take all the credit. So you still think you came to see the right guy. I'm going to tell you a totally true story. It was the early 1990s. And just before the release of Nelson Mandela, and F.W. de Klerk, the last white president of the Republic, thought he could still hang on to the power. And in order to do that, he wanted to win over the English press, which traditionally had been anti-the Nats. So he wangled an invitation to the Star to a luncheon in the penthouse. And I scored an invite to that. There were like 30 select members of Star. I wasn't a member of Star, never had actually been a member of staff of the Star. And it was like, I'm going to meet a president of the country. Not that I, held much truck for FW. I couldn't draw him accurately. Nobody, he was so vague in my head. And comedians would take off, and stores would take off Madiba, they'd take off P.W. Botha, Piet Koolhof, but nobody could do de Klerk. Even de Klerk couldn't do de Klerk. Meryl Streep couldn't have done it. Okay. So we were standing in a line as they do at the Royal Command performance, and waiting for the last white president of the Republic, the Potter. I'm trying to go with that convention of shortening things to a few letters. The Potter, it's like Sona. You can't say the State of the Nation address. It's got to be Sona. You drop the T. It would be Sona to be close to Chona, which is a great jazz tape that I used to own. Sona. Soweto. Right, it just triples off the palate. Slow down, George. Give me a dull Fedler. Wow, hard man. So I was standing in line, right at the bottom of the line, next to John Killarney. We worked together on the Sunday Star. And you'll remember Killarney was the fairest man I've ever met. He hated everybody equally, unconditionally. He particularly hated the Nats because on one of his assignments he'd been beaten up and lost the hearing in his one ear. And so he had a particular grudge. And I had this presence next to me which was literally shuddering. And I thought when he comes in, he's going to do a Jack Ruby, take out the president. And I came prepared. I had 2 cartoon books of the Season of Violence. I wanted to hand one over to the last white president. I won't try that till Dr. again. Let's do that. And the man who came through the door, I didn't know who he was. He came in, he was Mr. Personality, Mr. Congeniality, and he had this wonderful timbre that you had in these sort of operatic voices of the old actors of people like Siegfried Maynard and Andre Huguenot from opera and theatre. And he walked in, and aangename kennis, I agree you're regularly and privately and nice to put a face to, blah, blah, and it's just, your work is just superb. And he came down the line, and as he came down the line, everybody was being swept away by this genius of how to handle people. And he came down the line, and he came to Killarney, and he had Killarney at hello. And Killarney didn't like that. And yea, he finished speaking unto us and took his place at the head of the table, which was a T, and he was at the top, and yea, Kalani and I were at the bottom. And he kind of looked like the man at the Last Supper, and we ate, and then he spake unto us. And he spoke some more, and Kalani whispered in my ear, and I don't like this stuff, obviously. If he carries on talking, he'll have me voting for him. So let's jump forward some years. My wife and I were at what was our all-time favourite restaurant in Sea Point, St. Marco, where the hoi polloi of Cape Town go to dine. And we were kind of sitting in the stalls near the front door, and sitting in the center stage was F.W. de Klerk, now Citizen de Klerk, and the new Mrs. de Klerk, and we were jealous of what they were ordering and looking. And as he walked out, he said to his host, Luigi, "Your langoustines were superb." And that's all I ever remember of what he ever said. Your langoustines were superb. Now let's go back. Just after a lunch in like 2 weeks, and a letter arrives with a presidential seal on it, and the language, you cartoonists are able, in just a few lines, to encompass and embody the word, just superb, only that word, wow. And the letter was made out to Don Fedler. Now, before Google, I thought Don Fedler can't exist as a name. But I looked it up on Google, and there are miraculous things in the universe. In what is probably my all-time favorite movie, The Big Lebowski, there's a song that's played, "Welcome to the Hotel California." Co-writer, Don Fedler. "Welcome to the Hyde Park Southern Sun." If any of you came to see Don Fedler has left the building. And tonight, you got me, babe. It wasn't just my name that got me in trouble. I was born the wrong size for a Jew of my generation. Jews used to come in at 5'2", 3 foot. Perfectly into Calvin Klein, Calvin Medium, never good. 6'1", wrong size for a Jew. And I was always picked on in the playground. "Call me, you all want to mix it?" "No, thank you very much." I talked myself out of a million fights.